Hi, I'm Otis Miller, and this is how not to make a game. I've released 5 games on Steam, I've worked 2 years as a professional game designer, and I'm almost at the point where I can work on indie games full-time. I hope this video will help you follow your dreams successfully and avoid some of the mistakes that I made. Today I'm looking at my 3rd game, Grid Slayer. In my last video, I talked about the importance of keeping things simple, doing proper tutorials, and not neglecting marketing. That still applies here, but this time I'm going to be digging more into the game design and why the game design could have been better in Grid Slayer. Grid Slayer is a grid-based tactical roguelike card game. Say that 3 times fast. I wanted to capture the elemental interactions and chaos from games like Divinity without having to spend 20 hours building up your character. So, where did I go wrong? 1. Too much freedom. Too much freedom is not as good as it sounds. Too much freedom can lead to something called choice paralysis. If you have too many choices, or if the choices are too difficult, it can cause you to not want to make any choices at all, and then you just stop playing the game. Freedom can of course be a good thing, but only in the right context. A game that did this much better was Final Fantasy X and its sphere grid system. See, at first, each character has to go on their own part of the sphere grid, and they cannot deviate from their intended role. It's pretty much linear progression for each character. And then it's only much later that we get the freedom to upgrade the characters as we choose, so they can sort of jump to another player's point on the sphere grid. So if you want to make a healer that does haste magic, or a tanky mage, you can, but you have to earn it once you've understood the mechanics of the game. In Grid Slayer, there's only one playable character, and that character has access to all the cards, enchants, and talents there are. It's nice having access to everything in the game, but each run ends up feeling more similar. It's like every colour is this kind of mishmash brown rather than having the full spectrum of the rainbow. This leads neatly into my next point. 2. Lack of character. With just one character that can do everything, the game ends up feeling kind of soulless. You play as a card with a picture of a dagger on it. Maybe you want to play as a warrior, a mage, or a ranger. Better yet, you want to play as a rat warrior who specialises in causing enemies to bleed, or a turtle knight who specialises in armour and healing. And of course, Grid Slayer really lacks any narrative or world building. You start at point A and you end up at point B, and you have to slay the king. That's basically it. You can look at a game like Slay the Spire and it doesn't look like it has a lot of story, but play Grid Slayer and you'll see what it looks like when there really is no story. And you really feel the lack of it. I would love to have added some story or narrative, but as a single dev with no formal training, by the time I finished making the game, I was too burnt out to do that kind of detail, that kind of polish. Similarly, with the art, we tried to save time by making all the enemies exist as walking cards, so that we wouldn't have to animate them and so that we could just focus on the portrait. But that makes for really weak trailers and screenshots. It's not a compelling visual. We should have taken the extra time to have properly animated characters. It would have taken some time, but we would have gained more time in the process because I think more people would have liked the game and we could have spent more time working on it. Better to put in some extra effort where it counts than to waste the whole effort. And again, that's a nice segue into marketing and rushed release. So I talked a bit about this in the Blacksmith video, but I really can't state it enough. It's the advice that I need to hear, so that's why I'm banging on about it. As a solo dev, you will almost certainly feel burnt out by the end of the game. You might also need some money so you can quit your job and develop full time. So you might be tempted to use early access. Again, this is a mistake, you'll just lose money by doing this. Do not release your game until you are good and ready. Once you think you're finished, give the game at least 3 months to gather feedback and do some marketing, and just take a break so you can come back with fresh eyes. Of course, don't take too long a break. Get that game finished before you start another one. I released Grid Slayer in early access when it wasn't ready yet. It didn't bring in much money and just wasted the hype. Too many people's first impressions were for a severely underbaked version of the game that still had a few bugs. We even got a nice video by Retromation, which is really lucky, and him and his commenters seemed to love the game, but that hype just ended up being wasted, and we should have saved that for a proper release. It barely moved the needle in terms of direct sales, but it would have been a nice boost, a very nice boost, to an existing marketing campaign, which there wasn't. Also, and this is the bit I really need to hear, do not neglect marketing. There is no build it and they will come. When I'm doing these YouTube videos, I feel like I'm wasting time that could be better spent making the game. But if I only ever make the games and don't tell anyone about it, then all of my time is wasted. 4. Look after yourself. Making games is hard. Making games by yourself is even harder. Making games by yourself while having a day job and no formal training is really, really hard. If you want to get good at making games, you need to treat yourself really well. You need to exercise, eat well, get lots of sleep, and you'll need to take your time. Ditch that energy drink, have some water instead. Go to bed on time, eat some broccoli. So for me, I used to smoke a lot, like a lot. I smoked for like 20 years. More than that, I think. And all I can say is that quitting smoking is like going from 20 FPS at 480p to now 4K HD at 120 FPS. It's like upgrading your brain from a PS1 to a PS5. Making games is extremely difficult, so you have to be extremely effective if you want to do it on a low budget. Grid Slayer is available on Steam for less than a tenner if you want to try it. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching. Cheers, bye.